got you. We in the dome right now, we in the zone right now. Put your hands in the air, cause it's on right now. Yeah, we back up in this thing and we coming for the crown. Nick and Kev on the mic.
It's about to go down.
We in the dome right now, we in the zone right now. Put your hands in the air, cause it's on right now. Yeah, we back up in this thing and we coming for the crown. Nick and Kev on the mic.
It's about to go down.
As you can tell, last year it was an off year, but we reloaded and now it is our boss year. Seated back there and yeah, we got the badger. Don't forget Marshawn and don't forget the pass rush. Jameis QB1 dropping down to MT. Ball handed off the Alvin with the quick feet. So when you see the Saints marching, yeah, we gon' trouble you. At the Super Bowl party eating on them double. We in the dome right now, we in the zone right now. Put your hands in the air, cause it's on right now. Yeah, we back up in this thing and we coming for the crown. Nick and Kev on the mic.
It's about to go down.
We in the dome right now, we in the zone right now. Put your hands in the air, cause it's on right now. Yeah, we back up in this thing and we coming for the crown. Nick and Kev on the mic.
It's about to go down.
Nick and Kev on the mic.
It's about to go down.
Nick and Kev on the mic.
It's about to go down.
Nick and Kev on the mic.
It's about to go down.
Nick and Kev on the mic.
It's about to go down.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back. Another episode of the NewOrleans.Football podcast, coming to you live from the Better Call Botto podcast studio, presented by Sant CPA. We are back. We have real football to talk about. It's an exciting show and it's best time of the year. I can't think of a better time of the year. It goes opening week of training camp, Mardi Gras, and then pretty much everything else after that. So this is an exciting time for us here. And get signed up for the website, NewOrleans.Football/subscribe. I promise you it is going to be our biggest year of coverage ever on the site. We have big plans. Things are going to the next level. Get in, get locked in now, get the daily camp reports, all that stuff. This is the time of year when you want to be signed up. We're watching when you can't be watching. So let us be your eyes and ears and come support us. Come check us out and see what we got to offer. Try it out for a month. I promise you will not want to leave after that. As always, Nick Underhill, because I am never not Nick Underhill, and I am joined by Kevin Washington. Kevin, what's going on with you?
Not much, man. Not much. Good to be back. Good to be back. It's good to see football. It's good to see football live on the field with pads and things we can talk about and not have to not fabricate, but just come up with all these crazy stories. So it's just good to see football, man. I always say, it's your favorite time of the year. Your hair is blonder, your eyes are bluer, the smile is wider, the skin is glowing. It's training camp time. So it's yeah. I'm ready to talk some football, man. It's fun to be back at it.
And if you aren't already, make sure you're following our Twitter account, NOF Network. We're on Instagram, New Orleans Football. We got the HD videos every day. We aren't out here posting the iPhone videos. We're in HD. We're in 4K. We got the good stuff. So make sure you're checking us out if you want to be zoomed in and actually see what's going on and be able to read jersey numbers and all that stuff. So we're doing it the right way. And if you are a business owner who wants to do it the right way, hit up Daniel Sant CPA. He can help get your finances in order. They provide relevant accounting information, detailed analysis, and clear communication in a timely manner. Call today, 318-321-2765, or visit santcpa.com. And if you need legal help with any of the following: car wrecks, offshore injuries, 18-wheeler collisions, Maritime Jones Act, hurricane and storm claims, you better call Botto at 504-323-4777 or 985-677-1085 for your free consultation and case review. BottoLaw.com. And make sure you go check out Firehouse Subs, Veteran Boulevard location. Great people, great food. We've been hitting them up during training camp, making sure we're eating right, staying powered. They keep us going, so keep them going. Go check them out.
Only one place to get a sub in the whole world.
In the whole world. Firehouse Subs. Go check them out. Good people, do good things. And yeah, so we got a big show today.
Man.
Big show today.
So a lot of stuff to talk about. Let's just get into it. I'd just like to make an announcement. Nick knows nothing about this. I'm off pup. All right, we're gonna work me back into the game, and we're gonna be good to go. So, that's the first transaction for NewOrleans.Football. In all seriousness, let's just start at the top. I mean, I think what have we seen from, and It's funny. There were so many other things to talk about. I was like, man, where do I want to start? But I was like, well, the success or non-success of this team is just based on the quarterback, and so that's the most important person. He's been injured. He's coming off an ACL, etc. It's his team. There's a lot of positive things coming out in camp about him. So how's Winston looking? And not just how he's playing quarterback. How does it feel, right? Because you saw it with Drew, and obviously it's not going to be the same, but it can be like a little bit of a field thing when you're seeing how they respond to these guys and how these guys are practicing and how they're playing. So just what do you see from him, just like holistically, like, from the quarterback position?
Yeah, I mean, I think he's taken on the leadership role, and I think it's just kind of a little bit more asserted this year than last year. It's not you know up and down and back and forth, and how's this guy doing it? How's that guy doing it? It's just kind of one guy doing it. When they're in between reps doing special team stuff, he's down at the other end of the field going through routes with guys, working on stuff with Mike Thomas, working on stuff with Jarvis, working on stuff with Olave. So it's
Yeah.
just a little bit of a different feel. It's kind of his team, and you see people reacting to him as if it is his team. And I think also how he works. It's a way that people are responding to that, and his workouts and how much time and effort he puts in. I think is kind
Yeah.
of something that everybody kind of follows behind, and that's something they had with Breeze, but it wasn't necessarily in place last year with those two going back and forth during training camp. So I just
Yeah.
think on that level, it's significantly different. On the field, I think that there's good and there's bad. I thought today was his best day. Today being
Okay.
Tuesday, he had a really good team period. He had a nice rollout, hit Olave on the move, and then
Yeah.
Olave beat Caden Ellis with a little juke and got some extra yardage. So nice play for two guys there, and that was an important play in the sense that we need to see Jameis moving around and doing stuff, and we have seen that. But I think that was like the highlight moment of him on the move, and then he had a deep pass to Hardy down the field. Just saw
Mm.
how the safety played it, knew he had it, and let
Yeah.
it go. And look, those two have always had chemistry, so I mean that hasn't gone anywhere. So that was good to see that that's still in place. But look, I think there were a couple bad interceptions. We got to keep it real. We got to evaluate everything that happened on the field. He threw
Yeah.
the back-to-back picks the one day. Both throws, I think, the first one it was just a bad throw, and he got jumped. It was a little bit lackadaisical, maybe is the word that I would use. Videos
Yeah.
are out there. So I mean that's how that one looked, and then the other one over the middle, right after, very next throw. I thought that maybe you need to see the field a little bit better there. So there's that stuff. There was a little bit of an accuracy issue on a screen pass to Alvin a couple days ago. So that was something that I think is important. I think it's
Yeah.
important that they get that whole field working. Like the deep ball's good and it's there and it's going to keep defenses back on their heels. But like when they're back on their heels, you got to have the element of the offense to kind of execute underneath and just be able to attack them everywhere. And if you can attack them everywhere, then they get off their heels and you go deep. So it opens up more deep shots for you. So if you can attack the whole field, you are a much better team. I
Yeah.
think we've seen things with him that show that he's getting better at some of that stuff. But then there's also some, moments where it's like, okay, this still needs a little bit of work. 7
Yeah.
days in the training camp, I think they're going to figure some of this stuff out.
Yeah.
I am encouraged by how often he's kind of getting the ball out in rhythm quickly, stuff underneath. So I think that there is progress there, and I just think it needs to continue. We got a story about all the stuff he's doing
And
to
I was just going to get the title of the story right now. That's just
yeah,
as I was
he's
doing.
he's working hard on the quick passing game, and there's a lot of stuff in there about what they're doing, how they're going about it. Sign up for the site, NewOrleans.Football. Check that out, read it. But yeah, I think overall, I think he's been solid. I think it's been okay.
Okay, okay. Yeah, that's definitely, like I said, something that regardless of how everything else goes, like that has to be something that stands out. So, seems like he had a good one today, and you
Real good
definitely
one
want to,
today.
yeah, want to see him string those together because the better he is there, the more that they're going to get a lot, basically out of the whole team. So, all right, let's get into the. I guess we got to talk about the camp MVP at this point, Adebo.
Yeah, he's been real good. He's been excellent. I mean, he's really good right now. I
It's
think
like day after day. It's like like you hear it's like one day then the next. I'm like, all right, like what's going on here? Like it's like it's one thing for a guy to have a good day and a couple of good days, but just to continuously string them together, it's that's I mean it's from the outside looking in, it's impressive.
we'll keep it a buck. Like I think some of the plays that he's getting hyped for might be pass interferences. Like he's riding that rail,
Yeah.
and it's a fine line. It's a fine line, man. Like there's stuff you get away with, stuff that you don't, and I think that's something when they get the officials in here, it's going to be interesting to see how some of that stuff gets
Yeah.
handled. But man, he has been outstanding though overall. I mean, just the physicality that he's playing with, and it's suffocating. And I think he's just like you see a higher level of acumen with him. I think that when you
Yeah.
watch him play, I think that you can see that he's understanding like the route tree better, and then like once it gets to a certain point, he knows certain routes are out, so now he's playing other routes harder. He's
Yeah.
taking stuff away. He's pinning guys to sidelines. I think that he just knows how to play football better than he did a year ago. He knows how to press better. Last year, that was kind of one of the issues in training camp was his technique at the line of scrimmage. That's not an issue anymore. I think he's just figured out a lot of stuff. I think he's playing with a lot more confidence, and he just looks like a better, more mature type player. And he came into camp. He's battling. I mean, as good as he's playing, he is battling. Bradley Roby is getting number 1 reps damn near every other day. I don't, it might be the rotation might not be exactly every other day, but like
Yeah.
yesterday, Monday, we're hyping him saying dude's camp MVP. Tuesday, Roby's out there for the, so he is
balling too, having a good
Roby's
camp
balling
himself.
too. Yeah. But these guys are like, he is battling and fighting for a job. I mean, it's nothing that's being given to him. So like, that's something that's still actually like up in the air. And like, if Adebo wasn't playing the way he's playing
He'd be a
and
scorer,
Roby was
yeah.
playing the way he's playing, like they'd be fine. Like he's playing really good. I think Alante Taylor's playing really good. His physicality is something that's kind of crazy. He's got PBUs every day. Like he looks better than I thought that he was going to look this
Did
early
he
in
look
camp.
better than? It sounds like he looked better than Adebo did at this point in camp last year.
I mean, he's getting to go against,
lesser competition, maybe.
yeah, lesser competition. I think so. That maybe
Okay.
highlights it. So like, I'm going to be interested to see like Green Bay.
Well, actually, no. It actually is the
Houston.
same competition.
Yeah,
they're going
I knew
against
you
the
were gonna say
same
that. I knew you
guys.
were gonna say that. But I think it's a little bit. I think it is a little bit. Different. But look, he broke up a pass to Olave up the sideline. He's playing well against a lot of guys. It's
He's
the
a big
consistency,
dude, bro. He's just
it's the consistency that
big-looking
we need to
player.
see from him. But yeah, all these guys are playing excellent right now. Like it's just kind of crazy, like how many shots they can fire at cornerback,
Yeah.
and these guys are just all playing really, really good football right now.
Yeah, it's just crazy. Last year we were worried about who was going to be the starting cornerback, who was the number 2, right? I mean, Ken Crawley was somewhere in the mix down there. They hadn't traded for Roby. They tried to make some moves in the draft, and Adebo was a cornerback in a third that really wasn't highly talked about. And so, you fast forward 12 months later, and it's just crazy how like your fortunes can turn. So, yeah, it's crazy. If Adebo wasn't playing like as lights out as he was, the biggest story of camp would probably be who's going to be cornerback 2, right?
Mhm.
I mean, I could easily seeing that be a talking point because, like you said, Roby, I've been hearing this name. I'm like, man, you forget that he's like was a really talented player in college and had a high skill set and has had a lot of success in this league and is in this defense and then the rookie. So it's a good problem to have. It's a good problem to have, and I think it's probably having an effect on. Do you think how much do you think they're having an effect on the receivers? Right, like because it just seems like every day it seems like the defense is winning. Like I mean,
I don't know if I agree with that. I don't know if I
Okay.
agree with that. Yeah, I think the defense had one decisive win of a day,
Okay.
and look, I mean they're completing a lot of passes. Like everybody's was 19 to 25 basically going into yesterday. So
Okay,
I don't think that it's
it's
I
valid.
yeah, I think maybe there weren't a lot of big plays, but 6-7 yard gains consistently or 6-7 yard gains that get you down the field. So I
Mhm.
didn't necessarily see it that way. I think that the defense has probably played better than the offense overall. I think that there's been some ups and downs and things like that, but yeah, I just don't I don't know that they're killing them quite like that. So
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
just it's
yeah, I
like
think
when you look at it from afar, it just seems like every play is a. I mean, you got the Deontay play and the Olave deep pass,
well,
but
nobody's posting a video of
that's what I'm saying. It's like
Jarvis
social
Landry catching a
media make
6-yard slant. Yeah, nobody's
right. Yeah,
posting that
yeah,
video.
yeah,
They're posting the video of Adebo breaking up a pass. They're posting the videos when Jameis is throwing the ball 60 yards down the field,
yep.
but or a nice sideline catch or something. But when it's just like Adam Trautman getting open and making his 7th, 8th catch of camp, no one's posting that because it doesn't move the needle. But those plays exist, and those are important plays. Those plays get you down the field, and those are the plays I want to see with Jameis Winston at quarterback. I want to see those types of plays, and I think we're getting a decent amount of them. But yeah, I do think that they are affecting some of the stuff at wide receiver. When you see Adam Trautman being the most targeted player in camp, I think that's an effective stuff getting taken away on the outside. Marshawn Lattimore covering really well. I don't even know if Lattimore's has had a pass really thrown at him yet.
I
I'm
haven't even
sure it's
heard his
happened.
name. Like no one's just
I'm
looking over there.
I'm sure it's happened, but he hasn't gotten beaten to the point where it's something that you got to write down on a piece of paper or anything like that.
He's still
And,
CB1. Like just don't
yeah,
forget
and
about
he
it.
didn't
Yeah.
take part in one-on-ones the other day. So, but yeah, I think that there's a little bit of an effect. I mean, obviously, when you got these guys playing as well as they are, it's going to change things a little bit. But yeah, I don't necessarily agree with everyone's take that the defense is killing the offense. I see it a little bit differently. I see some effective stuff. I give them an edge. If you told me if you had to say pick which one, I pick the defense, but I don't think it's it's not.
80-20 or nothing.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, that's glad you cleared it up because I mean, like I said, if you on the outside looking in, it's like defense, 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 everything. So I mean, that's I mean, as if you're a fan of the team or if you're the coach of the team, that's kind of how you want it, right? You don't want one side of the ball just dominating the other side. You want it to be a little bit of a push and pull on both sides. So yeah, those guys, they make plays too. So that's good to hear. You mentioned Trautman a couple of times.
I mean, look, just since Saturday, you got 2 deep bombs for touchdowns.
Yep. Hardly dropped one that could have been 3, really.
Yeah, you got Olave. Olave took a slant up the field. That would have been another touchdown. And Jameis has had, off the top of my head, I want to say 33 attempts in camp. So you got 3 touchdowns on 33 attempts in team drills.
That's nice.
So I mean, that's a decent ratio. Now the 2 picks too, so that kind of erases probably 2 of them. So it's not this landslide. Just off that, if you have 33 attempts in an NFL game and you got 3 touchdowns, that's a pretty good number of touchdowns on 33 attempts.
Does Jameis have any more picks other than those 2?
I think there was one-on-ones, but I mean we saw the how that happened.
Yeah. I don't really count those. Those are a little different. You got to throw the ball, right?
Yeah, I mean, the guy dropped the ball into somebody else's arm. So
yeah, oh yeah. That was that was Kevin White, right?
Yeah,
being in the right place, right time. I think it was it Bun that tipped that or something like that. But anyway, yeah. But yeah. So you mentioned Trautman also as someone who's the most targeted guy, in camp so far. What are you seeing? Are you seeing anything different from him, or is it just Jameis is looking to him more? He's catching it more. He's a better route runner. He's a better looking player. Just what are you seeing from him in general?
Yeah, he looks good. I mean, he looks. I don't think the athleticism or ability was really
never in question. Yeah,
never in question. I think the issue with him has always been the 2 or 3 plays per game where ball hits his hand, he's looking up the field, and it's just okay, let me get up the field, and then he doesn't complete the catch. It's these little concentration things, these little self-inflicted. It's going down to the turf when a guy's got lower than you, and the ball getting knocked out of your hands as you're trying to go down to the turf. It's these little things that he's just not doing, and I think they're focus things. I think it's just consistency things mostly. And so far, he's caught every pass but one thrown to him. He's getting open. He's executing spots in zone. He's making plays. His athleticism showing up. He's made a couple physical catches. He had one the other day he caught, and he was getting lit up as he caught it. I think he looks pretty good right now. It's just a matter of when the games start. Can he continue to do the things that he's doing right now, being consistent and not making these self-inflicted wounds? But cautiously, I'd say it looks like he's starting to turn the corner. I'm not going to say
Mm.
he's turned it because
Yeah,
there's a lot to
early.
prove still, but it's looking like he's finding ways to be consistent. And I think being consistent now allows you to be, consistent in games. So it all kind of goes hand in hand. It looks like he's practicing the right way. It looks like he's doing the right things. I think he's the offense MVP right now of week 1. Camp's very, very long, but I think that he's probably the guy week 1 that's
Wow.
played better and more consistent than anybody else on the team so far. And I
Who
just,
would have thought like
that's just real.
Adam
That's just
Trautman
real.
and Paulson Adebo were like the two camp MVPs on one side and the other? That just goes to show you like how these things, it just you never know how players develop and how things change year over year. And I mean, look, they've had what, like 3 days in pads or something like that, or 2. So it's like a long way to go before we start making some definitive statements. But yeah, it is. It's just good to see young players playing better, and it's fun to watch them develop too, right? It kind of makes you think, how does having a full off season with coaching and being in training camp with, I mean, being able to go through OTAs, rookie mini camp, etc. Like, what type of effect, how much development on players across the league did that stunt, right? Because you just, I mean, Trautman is playing better. I mean, we get into Ruiz, right? There were some comments made about him today from Street, right? And he was just talking about how he's, the most difficult, the guy that he's been the most impressed by just by his athleticism and etc. So it's just kind of interesting to see, like, maybe some of these guys who are, and I mean, I don't know if Ruiz is playing well or not, right? But just some of the guys who came in that year, maybe they'll start turning the corner because the development has been stunted a little bit by, not having the regular offseason for a couple of years.
Yeah, I think all that stuff definitely going to matter. And I think Zach Bond's playing a little bit better. Ruiz,
What?
he had a couple plays. He's playing a
Bond?
little bit better than he has.
All
Yeah.
right,
So
all right, all right.
Ruiz had 2 wins in one-on-ones today.
How's
Troutman's
he been
playing
in
better.
general? How's he been playing better, just
I
generally?
mean,
I mean,
It's spent 2 days of
days.
pad, and you're looking a flat view from the sideline, trying to look on the interior. Like, you can see the edges, seeing the interior is a little bit tough. So I'd
Okay.
be a little bit leery of anyone that's standing where I'm standing that, is claiming to have a decisive analysis on interior D
You
line,
got
O
the
line play.
Cesar Ruiz film study from training camp.
Yeah, like if we were up, like, yeah, you could see
It'd be
in, but
easier to
when
see.
it's flat and it's tough. So I'm not gonna lie to anyone. That's it's hard to see there. Sometimes things open up and you can get a clear look, but sometimes you can't. So oftentimes you can't. So it's tough to say. But in the isolated moment, the one-on-ones, he looked decent today. So I thought that was
That's
good. You need to
important.
see more than that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
But yeah, I
important.
definitely think all that stuff will help, and I
Working
think
out.
we're seeing a little bit of it now, but it's a long runway to go. But I think all 3 of those guys early on, though, I think it looks a little bit different than maybe it has.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's definitely. I mean, it's something that I'm watching because that draft class is kind of like a make or break year. Make or break. I hate when I hear that because if Ruiz has an average year this year, he may be here next year, and Trautman too, right? I don't know if they may try to replace him, but I don't know how real that term is. But it's their 3rd year, right? And it's kind of, you start looking at those guys and say, all right, it's time for you to and kind of start coming to your own. And it seems like that may be the case. I mean, you feel
Well,
Ruiz is
I think the development of the offensive line is quietly like the biggest story of the future occurring this year, and I think
mm,
they could potentially lose on both those and still be fine this year. But long term, I don't think you are okay if Trevor Penning doesn't develop and Cesar Ruiz doesn't develop. I mean, that's 2 first-round picks there, and the book's
one
not
of the
closed
two
on
has
Penning.
to work out, like at least one of the two.
Well, yeah, and I mean, look, the book's not closed on Penning after this year, but I think if you drafted him and he's not starting by next season, I think it's fair to call that a loss. And I think if Ruiz doesn't get better and become someone that you're at least looking at and considering giving a second contract, like I think your first round picks, I don't know that you have to re-sign them for them to be considered a success, but like they need to be someone you look at and they're at least making the decision difficult. Like you should at least be considering it. And I think if he doesn't have a good season, like it's at a point where maybe you're looking outside instead of inside for that position. So
I think
yeah,
he's got to. I mean, if
I
he
think
don't
it's
play well
huge. You
this
got 2
year,
first round picks there. You got a new offensive line coach. You got Zach Strief on your staff, who's
Jari Evans now.
sitting there, yeah, and you got a Hall of Fame guard around too, who's extremely intelligent, who understands the game, is not just supremely talented. He's somebody that understands the game, communicates well, gets the intricacies. He isn't just some people that are just talented
He's just out there yelling
can't
and
teach.
yeah.
Jari's someone that for years, I talked to, and me being an idiot learned more about the game talking to him. Like, he was someone that could break it down and explain it in ways that like a moron like us can understand it. So like he's able to do that and
Put me
teach
in there
guys
with you.
teach guys that know what they're doing. So, I think that there's all the resources there. These guys, if it doesn't work, it's not because they weren't supported. It's the COVID stuff is it's all real. I mean, it set them back, but they have the
Yeah.
resources now, and something has to hit for both of them.
Yeah, no, definitely. Or three of them, because you put Bond in there too. He's someone that you at least like them to at least like to see him become some depth, like maybe the first backup or something along those lines, right? And so yeah, we're watching those guys. I mean, Ruiz, I think his development is going to be really really important. And so I mean, it was good to hear D lineman just for out the blue, right, without being asked, bring him up and then elaborate a little bit on it. And I just think that's someone that's playing against him that is coming from the outside looking in and don't really know much about him other than he was the guy that was blocking him when Drew Brees got hurt. But yeah, I mean, it's just good to like have some good feedback on it, right? And so we'll see how it plays out, right? Because if those guys in the inside play well, then I think that just changes the entire O-line, because Trevor Penning jobs becomes easier because you feel good about Ramczyk and McCoy. And so yeah, I just think it's it'd be good if he starts playing well. So what were your thoughts on the? I mean, it's not a really splash signing or anything, but they brought in the tight end used to be from the Vikings, but originally with the Jets. I remember him from the Jets, and when I saw his name, I was like, oh, this dude, like, he's good. But then I was like checked, and I was like, oh, he hadn't been good recently. But I remember liking him, a little bit as of like a potential guy. So just your thoughts on the signing, and what why did they do it at this point?
Well, I think probably because Taysom has the rib injury, so I think getting another guy in here is something that's probably important. And I think overall, after Trautman, the tight end play has been pretty underwhelming. I'm not sure that anyone else has really made a significant impact yet. So it's worth bringing guys in to look at them. I mean, I think that's a position that's
Taysom's
wide
hurt.
open.
Juwan Johnson is, so 2 of the 4 have been hurt, and then Van
Yeah, I think Kroll probably hasn't had the same momentum that he had this summer. I think that's faded off a little bit, and he had a drop today, so that's another moment. So I just think it makes sense to bring someone else in here. I haven't really thought about Chris Herndon since his rookie season. I thought after the rookie season he was like an ascending player that was on the up and up, and then I think there was like a PED thing maybe. I don't know. There was a suspension, I believe, at some point.
I remember he missed part of like the start of one season. I think
he basically missed his whole second season. Yeah, I mean he's a good player though. He's athletic. He 502
really
yards as a rookie. I'm interested to see what he does. He's somebody that I'm curious to watch. I don't know if I have a higher opinion of him than I should, because I got him on my fantasy team in 18 and it was a steal and he got me a lot of points. And that's kind of sometimes how these opinions get formed by people. Like, I'm sure the Chris Herndon 2018 fantasy owners think more highly of him.
Saints got a steal, right?
Yeah. But I'm interested to see what he can do though. I mean, he's clearly somebody who had some ability at some point, and can he tap into it? It's worth finding out.
Yeah, definitely. Some other guys that have maybe we've heard their names called at times for standing out, and someone who else I think is going to be really important to just the development of the team is Peyton Turner. So, what's your thoughts on how he's been, early in camp? Because at this point, he's, I guess, essentially the other starting defensive end. While I guess you got Tano there, who is back now, and Taco is on the team too. But yeah, how is he doing? How is he playing? It's his second year. Adebo took a jump. Is it similar with Turner, or is it kind of still you haven't?
He looked pretty good when he was out there, and then he got hurt again. So I mean, it's just that's the issue.
Oh, he got hurt. Oh, God.
Yeah, he didn't practice today. So
Oh
You
man.
know,
Oh,
that's the
that's right.
that's the issue. I mean, he's got to find a way to stay on the field. It looked good when he was out there. His first step was explosive. He was getting off the line quickly. They put
Mhm.
on pads. It was a little back and forth day one in pads, but he had his wins, and you aren't going to win every snap as a pass rusher. So if you win a few, you know that's huge. And he was winning a few, and I think you saw his pass rush plan looked a little bit more polished. It looked like maybe there was a little bit more thought and process into what he was doing, and he was getting some results. And then boom, he's out of there. So he's just got to stay on the field. I mean that's the issue. And I don't know if it's anything significant or not. He was out there and then he wasn't, and it's just got to be a little bit frustrating for him, the team, everybody that it's just
Two
you wait
defensive
for
ends
him
in
and
the
then he's
first
out.
round.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, I
both of
mean, you
them
kinda
hurt.
yeah, yeah. And Davenport, I mean, is there any update there? I mean, they said it was conditioning, but man, I mean,
Yeah, he was out there conditioning, and then haven't seen him for a few days. So I
yeah,
don't know.
it's just yeah, I mean, as good as the defense can be, I think that if those two guys are not on the field and being productive, I think it's going to be a challenge. And so, yeah, just hope to see him on the field soon. Really. All right. So I know you hate when I do this, but I'll be like not leading off with some of the best topics. But Mike Thomas is the biggest topic probably that we should have for every podcast, and so got to get into him. And so, how's he looking? What type of production is he having? Has he been having since the pads came on, et cetera? How's he looking? Old Mike back, et cetera. What's up with Mike?
He looks good. He's moving well. He's cutting well. He's running well. He looks fast. He's playing that ankle and turning curl routes look good.
He's not favoring it at all, from what I can see. Like, I don't know if I'm like not looking that hard, but he looks like a regular guy running routes at this
He
point,
does. He
almost.
does. He does, man. He looks that way to me too. I think that the real test is going to come when people are on him, and it can look like he's cutting and doing all, but is
Right.
he cutting in the way that's sending, Paulson and Debo a step up the field before
Didn't even say
yeah, on
Marshawn.
Mike's
Just,
cut, whoever. But I mean that's how he got open, was that plant and cut. That was Mike's game. So
that
we
was
got to
his
see it with
thing.
someone on him. But
Yeah.
I'm not looking at him and thinking like, oh man, like where's he gonna get healthy? I'm looking at him and thinking like, okay, let's see him against somebody. Like this looks fine.
That's kind of and that was the next question. Has he participated in any one-on-ones with the
Nothing.
pads
Just
on?
just just routes on air, walk through stuff like that.
Okay, so nothing
Nothing
physical
competitive.
yet. Okay. Yeah, I mean, look, I don't think there's no reason to rush that, at all. And yeah, if that's just if they need to let him kind of ease his way into it, maybe let him be a couple of weeks into camp before they kind of start, raising some of the volume on him up. And I think that makes perfect sense, right? You want Mike Thomas healthy in week, 14, 15, 16, et cetera, instead of, you know, getting them hurt in camp or something like that, and just not being able to kind of see him come back fully. So yeah, we'll be keeping an eye on Mike, and just want to see him back on the field, man, because he's a fun player to watch. So someone else who we haven't seen on the field is Tyrann Mathieu, and he was excused from camp earlier for a personal reason. I haven't heard anything, I haven't seen anything reported, etc. So yeah, just seeing if there's an update on that, and if there's basically any news about where he is and when he may come back, etc.
Yeah, nothing really. I mean, I keep hearing that he's going to be back sooner. It's at some point, maybe this week, next week. But at this point, I can't guarantee anything. And basically, it kind of feels like everything's gossip right now. I don't think anybody knows anything firm.
Yeah.
There were some speculation floating around that it was going to be done already, that he was going to be back. Then he wasn't. So I mean, it's just one of those things that I think that no one really is 100% pinned down on a timeline yet. But I think that there is a feeling that he is going to come back, and it's just a matter of when it's going to happen. As far as what's going on, it's just one of those things where I think some things are more important than football, and you just got to give someone the space to do it. And
Yeah.
it's not really anything that I think is anybody needs to be digging into. I think it's
Yeah.
just kind of leave it alone until it becomes something that's impacting other things. But right now, I don't think that it impacts what the team's really doing. Obviously, it's better if he's at practice. You want him at practice every single day. If he's at practice, he's building chemistry with Marcus May and PJ Williams and Chauncey Gardner-Johnson and Marshawn and Adebo and Roby. And I think that's critical to the season to have that communication element. But I also think that there needs to be, he's Honey Badger, man. He's a smart football player. He's
Yeah.
a good communicator. He's a good leader. I think when he comes back, if he comes back at a point where there's still enough ramp up time, I don't think it's going to be a huge deal to get him up to speed or anything like that. The social media speculation, the Instagram post disappearing. If you have looked at his Instagram over any period of time, like he posts stuff and he deletes it. There is not a single thing for the Arizona Cardinals or the Houston Texans of the Kansas City Chiefs on his Instagram either. Like it's he posts stuff, he takes it down. So that's not anything I'm reading into the things I'm hearing makes it sound like he's still excited to be a member of the Saints. All that stuff I think is still true. It's just, when's he come back? Does he come? Like, it's just, you got to wait and see and just kind of let the situation play out and, let the guy take care of what he needs to take care of and give him the space to do it. And, when it's leads to something that impacts something, I think, that's when it becomes, okay, this is how it's affecting football. But right now I don't really, it's affecting, but I don't think it's damaging anything. And
Okay.
I think that's okay. I think it's okay that he's not there for this long. It's a decent amount of time. I mean, it's not a short period of time. And if it goes on longer, every
It'll be
day
a
I think
bigger
starts to get a
story.
little more uncomfortable, but I don't think we're at that critical, blow the whistle point. If we're here Tuesday and he's not there, I think it's a much bigger deal at that point than it is right now.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, it's just been one of those things where it's kind of been lurking in the background. And so I haven't even like thought about speculating on it because when I read personal matter, I'm like, all right, it's personal matter. It means it's not public. That means if we wanted us to know, he'd tell us. And, I'm not really, it's his business. So hopefully everything is well with him and, we wish him the best, personally, and hopefully he'll be able to get back on the football field soon. That's, pretty much what it is. Okay. The rookies. Let's start with Trevor Penning because he's been like, everyone's got. I don't know. I just kind of feel like everyone was just waiting for Penning to get into a fight, and I don't guess it's like really a big deal, like people making it out to be. It's more entertaining and a good training camp story, but regardless,
he's got to
of
chill a little bit. I think you can't. Be
is it like that?
Yeah, I mean, it's just. I don't know if it's like that, but I see why guys are mad at him. Like if you kind of like isolate your eyes on him, like you see why guys are mad at him. You see why guys are mad at him. Like the play's like over, but maybe the whistle hasn't blown, and he's like still kind of like hitting people, and it's just like everybody else has stopped.
He said play through the whistle, bro.
Yeah. So I mean, it's cool. It's cool that he's doing it, but like I get it. I'm not telling him to chill, but like I get it why dudes are going at him.
Is it kind of like Chauncey? Like Chauncey, like is just annoying if you're not like on the same team.
Yeah, I mean, I think when he's on your team, like you aren't going to be mad because he isn't hitting you anymore.
Yeah,
he's not hitting you like he's so. But yeah, I think I see why guys are frustrated with him immediately.
Yeah, I mean, I was saying I just don't think it's like that big of a deal, right?
No,
Just
it's not.
Yeah, but I think it's just a fun camp storyline. How's he playing when it matters? Is what I'm more interested in, right? And how is he getting? I think he, was mentioning like how he's. He has to work on his pass sets more than his run sets because, it's the NFL and it's a passing league, et cetera. So just, is he still splitting reps with James Hurst or like,
he's behind. I think he's like behind him. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Wow. Okay. Yeah, I thought they were like splitting reps, kind of doing the Taysom James.
Yeah, they were like one, now and then, but yeah, I think he's clearly. I think James Hurst is clearly ahead of him right now.
Yeah. Which I mean, if I had to make a guess about how this thing would have went, if he was going to win the job, I would say that he would probably start off the first couple of weeks not being number one. So I don't think.
Yeah, I mean, I think if he gets there, he's going to earn it. But they're definitely making him earn it, and I think there's definitely work to do. I see some highs, I see some lows. And it's kind of as expected. It's kind of as advertised.
You just put that song in my head now, but
yeah. But I mean, I think that's I just think the conversations about him before the draft, I think were pretty accurate. Just kind of there's really good athletic ability. There's some really good flashes. He's an irritating guy to play against. He's gonna ride the rails a little bit, as far as what he can get away with and what he can't. and there's just some definite rawness to his game that I think that he needs to figure out a little bit and get some of that stuff in check. Like he jumped false started twice, two plays in a
okay.
row today, and then
That's
gets
not good.
pulled out and gets replaced for a few snaps, and then he's back in there. Stuff like that. It's just little things that I think he needs to figure out, and then the technique stuff and all that. One-on-ones, I think he split with Granderson, so I mean that's decent, a little decent sign there. And
Yeah.
if you isolate your eyes on him, you're going to see him win some, and you're going to see him lose. And I don't. It needs to definitely sway more towards the wins. And just get better at that stuff. But the talent's all there. I think he's going to put it together at some point. It's just, is he going to get it done before week 1?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a race. It's a race right now against that.
Okay. Yeah. It's something, it's a battle to keep an eye on. James Hurst has played quite a few snaps for this team at left tackle. So, they can win with him. But yeah, it would be nice to see, him kind of like get more, kind of step up a little bit, make that like more of a battle. But, I think we got plenty of time there. Chris Olave, the wide receiver out of the Ohio State University. How is he looking?
I think he looks pretty good overall. He's explosive, fast, athletic. Everything we've been talking about
like a freaking
is
cat
true
out there running routes, man. It's
I
crazy.
think I believe he's the second leading receiver on the team right now.
Yards?
Behind Trautman. Well, I mean, definitely he's going down the field, but just receptions wise.
Oh, yeah, it's okay. I know if you meant yards or receptions.
Yeah, I mean yards, he might be leading. Just he had the bomb, and then just the addition of all the plays together. I think it's definitely possible. But
Saturday was probably a lot of yards too. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the first introduction, the pads, that was probably his first bad practice, but it's small samples. He came back today, pads were on, looked good, played
Okay.
well. One-on-ones were a little, he could have been a little bit better. There was a throw that was maybe not great, but he got pinned to the sideline on the play too. So, I think that he's been really good though, and I'm excited to see what he does. I think that he's got a chance to really add like an explosive, smooth element to the team. And I think maybe he's not going to be fighting off guys, creating. He's not someone you're going to probably like throw open over the middle where he's like boxing somebody out. That's probably just not.
That's not
his game right
Never
now.
Was,
Yeah, and I
by
think
the
that's
way.
okay. I think it's okay
was.
that's not his game. The
You
back
got
shoulder.
Traquan, Callaway, Mike Thomas, Jarvis Landry for those type of catches.
Yeah, the only physical type of play I want to see him finish that back shoulder pass.
Yeah, I would like to see him catch that one.
Yeah, he had a chance at it. He got his hands on it. Like those are, but that's not a big deal either. That was a tough play to make. It's not like he like blew a play. Like it was a tough play to make. I think Alontae Taylor played that excellent. Like he read his hands and played through it.
Textbook.
Yeah, so
textbook.
So yeah, I mean, there's a handful of things that I think he could do better, but I think overwhelmingly, like it's been positive as far as his game goes.
He's good at football at the least. Yeah, I was listening to an interview with Pete Carmichael. I think it was yesterday or the day before. I forget. I feel like I'm in training camp too. They all like running together, and I think he said they're playing Olave at one position right now, and then they'll start working them into others. I'm guessing that's like Z.
Yeah, mostly. Yeah, I mean, I saw him in the slot a few times though too. So I mean,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it'd be interesting to watch. I mean, obviously, I think Z is his most natural position, and then in this offense, then obviously you'll move around. But yeah, if I would guess that Z and slot would probably be the two places you'd see him. If I had to guess, but yeah, man, this is like I haven't heard anything about him in training camp, right? And I'm not even worried about hearing anything about him or not. But I was listening to Demario Davis, like talk about just DA and just the team in general. And I was just thinking, man, like I hope when this guy retires, like they got somebody like that has been like sleeping on his floor, like just picking up everything from him. Cause it just kind of hit me like why the defense kind of has as much success as it does. And I just think guys like Demario, like just one thing that stood out, he was talking about like he heard some guys talking about how to like play a part of the defense, right? And then he was like, he went up to, and he was like, well, no, just play it like it's called. and it's going to work just like that. Just do exactly how DA plays it. You don't need to have this conversation you're having, basically. Like, just run the defense as it is. So, you don't know. It was just kind of interesting to listen to him talk and think like, man, this guy's like the Drew Brees of the current version of the team, if that makes any sense.
No, yeah, he definitely is. He's the leader of that defense for sure.
Yeah. He spoke about Marcus May, and I think he had some pretty interesting comments about him, saying that he's one of the three best free safeties that he's played with, which made me think of a couple of things. One, how is May playing? Two, is he playing more free safety than strong safety?
Well, how many? Hold on. But like, what does that statement mean? Like, how many free safeties is his DeMar? Like, he's played with Ed Reed, Marcus Williams, and Marcus May.
The best three that he's played,
and probably a handful of other guys. So, like, I don't really know what that statement means.
I know. That's why I was like, well, that's why I say, how is May really doing? Because I was thinking, like, those are like, that's 80%, that's 90% of his
May's
career.
Look good. May's look good. He has good range. He covers a lot of field quickly. He's in the box. He looks good. You blitzing. He looks good. I think he does everything pretty good, and I think he's going to be a dynamic player. And there's a lot to like about his game, communication wise. Like, I've already seen him like getting some guys set up and stuff like that. So
Okay.
I mean that's good early on. That's a good sign. Shows
Him
that
and PJ 1 and 2 safety right now. It's for the
yeah,
starting
right now,
safety.
yeah.
Okay. Yep. Evans he's made a couple of plays in camp, huh? The safety.
Justin Evans.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, he's looked okay. He gave up the touchdown to Deontay today. He was a guy in coverage there, but he's been pretty good overall. I think he kind of came back a little bit from, mini camp it was high, and then OTAs, like your OTAs he was high, mini camp like I think it was kind of quiet for him, and he's making plays though. He looks good. I think that I think he has a chance. If you were cutting down today, I think he would have a chance of being on the right side of that number.
Yeah. You mentioned that they may have to look at bringing in the safety or something. Smoke Monday looks like he suffered an injury.
Yeah, I mean, you take him out, you take Tyrann out there, like the safeties are gone. Like you gotta.
It's been from a depth position to like now Daniel Sorensen is your like what number 4 or something with Evans.
Yeah, I mean, I think just if you're playing three groups, like they might be a guy short.
Yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah. Just I didn't hear anything about the Smoke Monday injury. It was just practice was over and then he was hurt. So that's unfortunate for him. His rookie season. So last thing, any of the other like young guys that they drafted heard anything about, or even undrafted? Abram Smith is someone they drafted. They had some wide receivers. I think Dixon is the kid's name. The linebacker, and then Johnson, the interior defensive lineman. So just anything from those guys at linebacker, interior D line, running back, etc. Some of the other young guys on the team.
Yeah, the linebacker Jackson, he's made a handful of plays. He looks potentially like somebody that could do some things. Interior D line is day 2 of pads. Nothing really flashy there. Some of the other guys on the team, like I think there's some decent competition at wide receiver for practice squad spots. I thought Quan Baker was actually, one of the guys separating a little bit from that like subgroup of people, but he's suspended the first 6 games of the season for PEDs. So he might have cost himself, a job there. I don't really know how that's going to affect his status.
How do they have to do? Do they have to like just because they don't have to hold a roster spot for him or nothing, right? And so they can figure out what they want to do with him after the 6 games.
Yeah, and it's like he's not going to be on the 53. I mean, that's just not going to happen. It's just period. That's set. Like the question at wide receiver is like the Callaway, Traquan Smith, and Deontay Hardy all make the team, or does one of them not make the team? I mean, that's kind of the question there at that spot. I think they probably all make the team right now. I think Traquan's probably running a wide receiver 4. He's made more plays than the other guys, like just catch wise, period. Like
Hardy and Callaway.
Well, Hardy, I mean, I'm looking at Hardy is on the team as a receiver. So if you're going Callaway versus Traquan, like Traquan's just made more plays so far. And it's early. That can flip on its head quickly and that changes. But yeah, I think right now that's kind of where it's shaking out. But I think they all make the team. And I think you probably prefer to keep Callaway around because he's under contract for a while and he's younger and he's ascending. So, that comes into play.
He gets picked up like instantly off the waiver wire, by the first team.
So would Traquan. Yeah. I mean, but I mean, that's the conversation there at that position. So, I mean, but Kirk Merritt, Dixon, like they're making plays. Like there's just a lot of good young practice squad type players, I think, at that position.
Yeah. It seems like the team has some depth built into it. DA spoke about that today, how they wanted to like build the depth of the team because of the injuries, et cetera, that they dealt with last year. And it seems like in a lot of, I mean, when I think, through the team, I mean, there's some positions that are deeper than others. Tight end sounds like a position that they could use some depth. Maybe safety now. Um, you know, uh, Defensive interior, we'll see. But for the most part, it feels like they've built, a relatively deep team where they, some guys have some injuries, especially in, specific, positions like crucial positions like D lineman or cornerback that they can still field a team and a good team and not, just kind of fall off the cliff. So yeah.
So someone asked this question: who's second unit nickel corner? It'd probably be Alante Taylor or Justin Evans.
Okay. Nickel corner. Okay. So Roby wouldn't if Chauncey
Roby would be, but like if you're just lining up a depth chart, like Roby would probably play there ahead, but then I think if you were like writing the names down, like Roby's on the outside,
Okay,
Alante
I got
Taylor's on
it.
the
If
inside, and then I think
But if
it's
impractical,
Justin Evans after him. Justin Evans might even be ahead of Alante at that spot.
yeah. So Alante so Justin Evans is playing
Yeah, he's getting some
nickel.
snaps in there.
Oh, so he's playing inside too. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So does Bryce Thompson. Yeah.
Okay, all right. But Alante is playing exclusively at corner too, right?
On the outside, yeah. But I think they
Outside.
see him as somebody that can play inside as well.
Okay. Yeah, man, they just got so much. They got so many corners, man. It's just like you're just thinking through these guys. And the good part is that, like you said, you feel like Roby can play inside or outside. You feel like Alante can maybe play inside or outside. So, PJ's played corner, nickel, and safety, right? And so, yeah, it just.
I don't know if PJ's coming down there, man. That he's a big dude now. He is.
Yeah,
a big
205. I think he said he's 205 now.
He looked big.
You asked him about it today. I heard you ask him about it.
I sat there for like a good 3 minutes, like thinking, like, how can I ask this dude like how he got bigger without being like, "Hey, bro, you get bigger." So that was some veteran savvy right there on my part. Like, hey, like, do you work out differently now that you're safety?
Yeah, I heard. He was like, hey, now that you're at cornerback. And he kind of said, he was like, yeah, man, I want to be playing safety at 193 or something that he said or something.
Yeah.
Which is crazy because I was like thinking 193, like I wouldn't want to hit like a Derrick Henry at 193 neither. Like that's not that big. I'm 191 or something, right? So it's like, man, Derrick Henry, these dudes are like 240. So yeah, I kind of heard you sneak that in there. So shout out to PJ, man. PJ just come back from vacation and just be a vet, that's just what it is. So yeah, man, it's a lot going on with the team.
Man, you found a way to like make yourself an NFL player every podcast. You were not in the NFL, bro. You were not in the NFL. You are not that good of an athlete.
I knew the minute I said it, I knew I was like, oh gosh, I'm gonna have to hear about it. I said nothing about me being. I'm just saying, like, I know what 193 feels like, and it's little. Like, it's not a big right. weight to be at. That's all I'm saying. PJ's. I'm not a football player. I'm a podcaster. So anyway, we're not talking about me. Man, it's a lot going on. What's next for the team? Like, do they have the scrimmage scheduled, et cetera? What's next?
I don't think they do that scrimmage. They haven't done that scrimmage in a while. I think that scrimmage is over. But
okay.
Yeah, they're practicing all week. Go to Houston. Then they're in Green Bay the week after that. So
okay. Well, we'll be covering it here.
When's Houston? The 12th? I think it's.
Oh, I'm in the dog days of camp, man. I'm just thinking about the next day.
13th. Yeah.
All right. So today's the 2nd. So in about
they got 2 weeks of practice, basically a week and a half of practice. First preseason game, and then off to Green Bay.
Yeah, that's so far from now, man. It's like that just feels like
13th.
11 days of camp feels like a really long time. It feels like it's so far off, right? Because it's just things that. But it's crazy. But the Hall of Fame game is this week, right? So it's like football starts like Thursday, right? And so, it's crazy. It's crazy.
Fantasy league, no fantasy league, man. I can't anymore. Like I'm getting out. I'm backing off of the fantasy leagues.
Yeah. You guys don't want me in your fantasy league. I might auto draft and I might be there for 2 weeks. And I think it was 1 year. Like, I think we played fantasy for like 1 year or something. And I think I stuck with it, but I was just like, right, you gotta let me off the hook. You gotta let me off the hook here. So, anyway. All right, guys. If you're not signed up to NewOrleans.Football, please go and check us out. NewOrleans.Football /subscribe. Bunch of different options there. There is no other place that you should probably be going to first when you're looking for Saints information. I'm a little biased, but I like to think that, I'm objective too. So we got it all covered here. We got big things planned. It's a big year for us. Shout out to the HD videos out there. You can see jersey numbers apparently. So yeah, man, got our guys out there, DJ and Brandon doing their thing, holding it down. So check us out, man. We appreciate all the support that we've been getting. It's been good this year. You guys have just supported us and made this possible. So thanks. And we're trying to do it bigger. So keep supporting us and we're going to keep pouring back into it. So you guys be good. Thank you guys for listening. We will see you next week. We out.
Nick and Kev, I got you. We in the dome right now, we in the zone right now. Put your hands in the air, cause it's on right now. Yeah, we back up in this thing and we coming for the crown. Nick and Kev on the mic.
It's about to go down.
We in the dome right now, we in the zone right now. Put your hands in the air, cause it's on right now. Yeah, we back up in this thing and we coming for the crown. Nick and Kev on the mic.
It's about to go down.
As you can tell, last year it was an off year, but we reloaded and now it is our boss year. Seated back there and yeah, we got the badger. Don't forget my son and don't forget the pass rush. Jameis QB1 dropping down to MT. Ball handed off the Alvin with the quick feet. So when you see the Saints marching, yeah, we gon' trouble you. At the Super Bowl party eating on them double. We in the dome right now, we in the zone right now. Put your hands in the air, cause it's on right now. Yeah, we back up in this thing and we coming for the crown. Nick and Kev on the mic.
It's about to go down.
We in the dome right now, we in the zone right now. Put your hands in the air, cause it's on right now. Yeah, we back up in this thing and we coming for the crown. Nick and Kev on the mic.
It's about to go down.
Nick and Kev on the mic.
It's about to go